Hello, everybody. Have you had your vacation yet? August is a good month for a holiday. For 2 years, my vacation has been postponed by polio. But I remember what vacations are like. And maybe I'll have one again next summer. I'd do anything for the emergency march of dimes. But all I can do now is to ask you to help us. Thousands of us who still need your help. Have fun wherever you go. But please don't forget the polio patients. You can't go anywhere without your help. Thank you, everybody.
Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff and brought him strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff the magic dragon lived.
Polio was the most dreaded childhood disease of the 20th century in the United States. Polio is a disease that affects limbs, respiratory muscles, results in permanent disability and even death. Polio often affected children, and it was called infantile paralysis. Once afflicted with polio, kids were pulled out of school. They were left home. They did not participate in activities. They were robbed of their childhood. With the support of the National Foundation of Infantile Paralysis and the vision of Daniel Harrington, Camp Sea Haven was founded on Plum Island in 1947 to give children with polio a free vacation.
By the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Together they would travel on a boat with billowed sail. Jackie kept a lookout perched on Puff's gigantic tail. Noble kings and princes would bow whene'er they came. Pirate ships would lower their flags when Puff roared out his name. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived.
I was diagnosed 8 years old in 1945. I believe it was the month of October, and I had a very high fever. And in those days, we didn't call them primary care physicians, but our physician visited the house, Dr. Bagnall from Groveland. And he come, and I remember he told my mother to get my father and bring me to Boston. I went to Boston and didn't come home for 3.5 months. They kept me there.
By the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist.
1947, it was a fellow by the name of Mr. Harrington that was most instrumental in inaugurating this whole thing, and all the campers slept in the Coast Guard house. There was one room, the beds were spread from one end to the other, and there was a sheet or sheets across the room that when it was lights out, council would pull the sheets, and the boys were on this side, and the girls were on that side.
In a land called Honolulu, a dragon lives forever, but not so little boys. Painted wings and giant's rings make way for other toys. One gray night it happened, Jackie Paper came no more. And
When I arrived at Camp Sea Haven, it must have been probably 10 years after the camp originally opened, and it expanded tremendously in a 10-year period. We ended up with probably 8 cabins, and in each cabin I think there were 5 or 6 kids and a council that stayed with them. I do remember the pool being built when I arrived there.
that mighty dragon, he ceased his fearless roar. His head was bent in sorrow, green scales fell like rain. Puff no longer went to play along the cherry lane. Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave.
So we were connected both ways. I think my parents were certainly very, very grateful for the March of Dimes, for giving us the opportunity to experience this incredible Camp Sea Haven.
Puff, that mighty dragon, sadly slipped into his cave. Oh, Puff, the magic dragon.
Special times, special memories, an incredible experience. You felt free, you felt safe, you felt privileged in a way that a person with a disability, I guess, wouldn't normally feel.
Land called Honolulu, Puff, the magic dragon, lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
Any of the campers, no matter what kind of disabilities they had, whether they had no limbs, whether they were on crutches or a wheelchair, I never heard one feel sorry for themselves all the years I was there. And that was quite uplifting. And
How many roads must a man walk down before they...
One of the really fun things that I do recall was the event Christmas in July. It was held on July 25th, and the reason we did it was we wouldn't all be together December 25th. And again, the kids really had a ball with this because they were able to decorate using blankets and towels for trees.
Call him a man. How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must
The thing about it is the children that were there, many of them just didn't ever have an opportunity to go to a camp, you know, and this camp, I have to say, it must have been quite difficult for the kids, but they overcame the difficulties just by the sheer fact that they were at camp. If you can envision, you know, walking with crutches and trying to play baseball in a sand pit.
cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
For 40 years, Camp Sea Haven ran on the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. And kids had fun, they made progress, and they had hope.
The answer